Do you use Channel Strip plugins? First off, I don't think I have introduced myself in this channel. My name is André Santos, I'm from Portugal. I am the founder and most of the time the only person behind Windflexion Studios. And I'm here today to talk about Channel Strip plugins. Some people love them, some people hate them. I don't hate them, but I don't always use them either. For those who don't know, Channel Strip plugins are plugins that include a wide variety of effects like EQ, compression, noise gate, etc. all in one plugin. You just need to use a single plugin instead of dialing in several plugins. They are a huge time saver because you don't need to be browsing your plugins, now the EQ, now the compressor. No, you have all in one. They can help you keep your workflow clean and neat and simple, and they also very good on your CPU because you don't have to overload your CPU with tons of plugins. In this channel I have already talked a lot about drums and about guitars, but I haven't talked that much about vocals or about bass. So today I'm going to show you my attempt to mix screaming vocals and bass using not much more than a single Channel Strip plugin. Let's go. Here I have my drum track. This is a drum stem that was imported already processed, and my guitar stem, it was already processed as well when I imported it, just to make things simpler and easier. The bass track was not processed, I'm processing it here, and the free vocal tracks also weren't processed when I imported them to this session. This one is my main vocals. It's very high. This one is focused in the mid range, it's back vocals. This one is focused in the lower range, is very low vocal. I'm sending my vocals to the vocal bus where I have two compressors. This one is working as a traditional compressor, and this one is here to give character to the vocals. First off, let's have a listen to the bass without the Channel Strip plugin. By the way, I'm using in all tracks, I'm using this plugin. It's an SSL emulation by Plugin Alliance. I enjoy this plugin very much, and it's a great example. I'm also using this plugin to give some harmonic distortion, harmonic saturation to all the tracks where I'm using the plugin. Let's listen to the bass without the Channel Strip. Let's hear how it performs with the whole song. In my opinion, some frequencies are popping out too much. Let's turn on the Channel Strip. Okay, it's blending way better. Let's compare before and after. I'm definitely compressing with the Channel Strip. It's very noticeable. I'm not shy compressing bass. These lights here will show us how much the bass is being compressed. Around 10 dB, it's a lot. Now I'll turn the EQ on and off to see what the EQ module of this Channel Strip is doing. Okay, the EQ sounds kind of like it's compressing also, because I'm getting rid of the harsh frequencies of the bass, and I'm leaving only the frequencies that give the bass its position on the music, its place, because those frequencies were popping out too much, and they were not the best option for this song. in my opinion. Now the bass is tamed and controlled, and it offers a more pleasant low end to the song. Next, let's go to the vocals. Here, my main vocals. Let's have a listen. Okay, with the channel strip engaged. I'm compressing more than I usually compress vocals. Around 6 dB of compression, but it's sounding good to me. I'll not change it. I will turn on and off the EQ so we can hear what we're doing. Okay, with the EQ basically I'm removing some of the mids and giving some life on the higher end of the higher frequencies of this vocal track, and I'm also pushing a lot for the lower frequencies, a lot, like more than 10 dBs on 200 Hertz, and that's because the vocal sounded too tiny and I really wanted some low end to make it glue better with the whole song. I don't do this very often, this kind of processing, but I think these vocals needed it to sound better with the whole mix. It actually was not enough, so I engaged another EQ just to boost the the low end again. In solo, I don't think it sounds that good, but with the whole song, this low end is working very well. Then I engaged the Ozone Imager just to make the vocal sound wider. The delay here is supposed to make the vocals glue better with the song, and those pauses between every part when he sings will never have silence. Is an option I made specially for this song. I don't always do this, but I wanted to connect all the parts using the delay. I'll show you what I mean. As you heard, there is never silence. Then went to these mid vocals. Let's hear how they sounded before the channel strip kicked in. Vivisected from our psyche. Je valt to infirmary. Vivisected from our psyche. Je valt to infirmary. Okay, I think I pushed the low end. Yep. I pushed the low end and make it sound less harsh. It was sounding a little harsh. If these were main vocals, I probably wouldn't think they were sounding harsh, but as they are backing vocals, I don't want them to be too upfront, so I push them a little to the back. The compression is very similar to the compression I used in the other vocal track. Now the lower track. With this track I did just the opposite of what I did with the other track. I brought it a little more upfront because his voice here was very muffled. It sounded kind of like this, and it needed more bite, more power. So it was, as these two vocal tracks are sung together as a choir, and I thought that they would sound better if they were more alike, and I think they are working very well together. Let's listen to them both without this channel strip engaged and then with the channel strip engaged. Now with the channel strip engaged. Okay, I think they glue much better right now with the channel strip engaged. Now let's listen to the whole section and see if we like it. I have the delays of the three vocal tracks engaged. I think everything is engaged. Let's go. I enjoy the way it sounds. I think we achieved good results. I would probably use another EQ or something to squeeze more the life and more meat on this track, on these high vocal tracks, because they need to take up more space and they have more presence in the mix. But by using only channel strips to make most of the adjustments and the most basic adjustments, I think we have a good result. I'll be honest with you, despite of me being quite happy with the results we had, I probably wouldn't deliver a mix to a client where I have only used channel strip plugins. That's because I oftentimes have to use surgical EQs and stuff like that, and I would prefer to do that surgical stuff on a dedicated plugin that gives me other options. Also, I use creative effects to keep the listener interested in the mix, and oftentimes the channel strip plugins don't have that kind of effects, of creative effects, and when they do, they usually are not easy to use and don't give us that many options. But if you think about the old times when all music was being recorded out of a console, the recording engineer oftentimes would process the tracks right when they were being recorded. He would use the console to EQ and to compress the tracks even before sending the tracks to the mixing engineer. So the mixing engineer would receive processed, pre-mixed tracks, and today still a lot of people work this way. This is a risky approach indeed. It can go wrong, but if you know what you're doing and if you have a clear view in your mind, if you know what you want to achieve, by committing your tracks, you will save a lot of time and you will likely end up with a more authentic sound. And I think ultimately channel strip plugins are a way to bring this mindset to a DAW workflow, because as you saw, I haven't made any surgical EQ moves, I haven't added lots of weird creative effects. So if I use the channel strip as the first plugin in my chain, I can emulate this type of workflow, because I am doing all these operations, all the EQ or the EQ and the compression with a single plugin. I'm not overloading my CPU, and my DAW isn't cluttered with tons of plugins. So after using the channel strip plugin, after having a strong foundation for my mix, I can be surgical and I can be creative and add a lot to my mix using this approach. Another thing that I want to tell you about is our new product called WF All. This is a digital product available in our store. I'll leave the link below. This product is basically all of our products conjoined into one, so you can have access to all our products with a single purchase. It's a pack that includes drum samples, cab IRs and reverb IRs that will be great tools to improve your music and your music production for sure. So do you use channel strip plugins? Do you approach them the same way I do? Do you approach them in a completely different way? Comment below, I want to hear all about it. And that's all for today. Bye.